I mean, it was amazing. It was a gas. The crowd was very welcoming. They were very responsive.
Really, it was great. Yes, it was. The people in the crowd were very friendly. They were very helpful. At age 62, Johnny Depp finally does something that no one thought was possible. Johnny Depp kept a secret for 40 years. It wasn't about pirates or Edward Scissorhands. It was about the night he quit school at age 15 to sleep in a van with a garage band. About living in Hunter Sept. Thompson's basement next to gunpowder kegs. And about sending violent texts that shocked a courtroom. In October 2024, he opened an art show that showed something that no one in Hollywood expected. They thought he was drunk on set because of the picture, which also showed that he was right about something everyone else got wrong. Johnny Depp didn't start out in the public eye. He came into the world on June 9, 1963, in Owensboro, Kentucky. Betty Sue Palmer, his mother, worked long hours as a waiter, and John Christopher Depp, his father, was a civil engineer. Things were not safe at home. In the 7 years that Johnny lived with his family, they had moved more than 20 times. They finally settled down in Miramar, Florida. His life was a mess. His parents fought all the time, and there was a lot of mental stress in the house. His parents split up when he was 15, leaving him with deep wounds. Later, Depp said that his mother was the meanest person he had ever met. But a spark began to grow amidst all the chaos. Johnny found a strange sense of who he was in the middle of Florida's chaos and heat, surrounded by rock music and broken routines. He did something that most teens wouldn't even think about when they are 15. He quit high school. He didn't leave to work or play. He wished to make songs. He joined a band called The Kids. They were angry, loud and hungry. The band made waves in Florida's underground scene by covering for legendary artists like Iggy Pop, but it was hard to stay alive. They ate cheap food together and slept in their van. They were barely getting by, but Depp didn't seem to mind. He wasn't looking for ease of life. He was after sound. He didn't know it at the time, but his love of music would soon take him somewhere he didn't expect. Depp married makeup artist Lori Ann Allison when he was 10 years old, in 1983. It was her 6th year, and she had a lot of hope for him. They both went to Los Angeles to try to make it in the music business. It was the most depressing job Depp had when he had to sell ballpoint pens over the phone. He called people every day to try to sell something he wasn't interested in. He was upset, broke, and didn't know if the dream was even worth pursuing. Lori had faith in him though. One of her friends worked in show business, and was about to make Johnny's life completely different. Nicolas Cage was that guy. He thought Johnny was interesting. A riddle, a charm and a feel. He was told by Cage to try performing. Still, Depp went to a meeting with an agent even though he wasn't sure. It was then time to try out for A Nightmare on Elm Street. Depp wasn't even there by himself. He was with a friend, but the daughter of director Wes Craven saw him. She believed he looked wonderful. That was enough. Depp was cast as Glenn Lance, a kid who dies horribly when a bed swallows him up. On November 9, 1984, the movie came out and made over $25 million, even though it only cost $1.8 million to make. That one bloody scene made him famous, and brought him out of the dark. Then 1985 came along. Again everything changed. His band, The Kids, finally broke up. His marriage also ended. He quit school to pursue music, but now it was over. He didn't have a plan B. The strange new world of acting was just starting to open up to him. The choice was very harsh. Follow the music that didn't lead anywhere, or take a chance on the unknown road of film. He chose to act. At the time, it looked like a failure, but it would soon be the start of something huge. In 1987, 2 years later, he became well known. He got the part of cop Tom Hansen in 21 Jump Street, taking over for Jeff Yeager. When he was only 24, Johnny Depp was all of a sudden on the wall of every American teen's bedroom. It wasn't just popular. The show was a big deal in culture. It dealt with tough topics like drugs and violence, and Depp became a teen hero around the world because of it. But Johnny didn't like it. He thought he was being put in a box and sold. He thought his character was dull and easy to guess. Fame was too much. He got into fights with the directors and even messed up his trailer to try to get fired. Everyone loved him, but he wanted to leave, so he acted out in a very strange way. People were confused by the parts he picked. The 1990 movie Cry Baby, a crazy satire by John Waters, had him in the lead role. Depp took the part because it made fun of teen heroes, not because it did. Waters said he chose Depp because he saw his picture on every teen magazine in a shopping store. Johnny used Cry Baby to get rid of the picture of a heartthrob he didn't want. While it cost up to $12 million to make, the movie only made $8,300,000 at first. But over time, a lot of people really liked it. What's more, it made its point clear. Johnny Depp wasn't going to follow the rules in Hollywood. Later that same year, he did something that changed the course of his career. With Tim Burton, he worked on the movie Edward Scissorhands. There was a lot of silence and sadness in the part. Depp played a machine man who was lonely and wanted to be loved. He had scissors for hands. It was nothing like the parts he had played before. People in the audience and critics alike thought the show was great. The movie made 4 times what it cost to make, which proved what Johnny had been trying to show. He was more than just a pretty face. He was an artist. After that, he avoided anything that seemed safe or normal. He turned down big offers to work on characters who were dark, misunderstood, or just plain weird. He said he would never go back to TV. No way, he told the reporters. I'd rather get gas. He was no longer after money or fame. He was looking for purpose. And while he was building his business, his personal life was just as busy. Soon after his split, he became very close to actress Sherilyn Fenn. They were together for more than 3 years after meeting on a student film set. They were so close that they got engaged for a short time, and she even showed up on 21. Jen Grey then came along. Depp asked her to marry him only 2 weeks after they met. They were engaged for 9 months before things fell apart. He didn't like the attention, or the way people saw him, but his next relationship would become famous. When the movie Great Balls of Fire came out in 1989, he met Winona Ryder. Their link was made right away. In just 5 months, they got engaged. Johnny put a permanent tattoo of Winona on his arm. At the start of the 1990s, the couple's relationship became a sign of Hollywood love. Even though it stopped in 1993, Depp's story was changed by it. Strong, intense, and full of real feelings. In 1994, Johnny Depp played Edward D. Wood Jr. In the movie Ed Wood, he didn't just act, he became the part. Several times, Ed Wood was named the worst director of all time, and his movie Plan 9 from Outer Space was named the worst movie ever made. Depp didn't make fun of him though. He loved him and showed off his crazy positivity and strange charm as if it were something beautiful. Depp said that the act was inspired by both Trump and the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz. It may sound strange, but it worked. It felt like a love letter to all the weird, confused artists out there. The movie was shot in black and white. However, it was also the start of a bigger relationship between him and director Tim Burton, which became very famous over time. They found magic in the dark together. After 5 years, Depp and Burton worked together again on Sleepy Hollow. In this movie, Depp played Ichabod Crane, a smart but nervous detective who was trying to solve killings in a town that seems to be haunted. The company wanted someone like Brad Pitt at first, but Depp had a very different idea. It was important to him that Crane was soft, awkward, and even scared of bugs. He even asked for a long fake nose that looked like the noses of old-school characters like Angela Lansbury and Sherlock Holmes. The studio turned down the crazy stuff, but the end result was still one of a kind. Crane wasn't a hero. He passed out and freaked out, but he used reasoning and science to solve crimes. People really liked how the movie felt like a scary dream, with its thick fog, creepy woods, and Danny Elfman's music. The movie made more than $207 million, and won an Oscar for Best Art Direction. Depp played Willy Wonka in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in February 2005. It was one of the most talked about parts of his career. People remembered Wonka as being fun and lively, but this wasn't him. Depp's version was pale, stiff, and not very passionate. He said that kids' TV hosts gave him ideas, and the haircut was even based on Anna Wintour of Vogue. For some reason, Depp said he didn't look or act like Michael Jackson, because Wonka didn't even like kids. The movie added a new twist by showing Wonka's difficult past with his strict dentist father. It was more disturbing, and surely more controversial. The critics were split. Some people thought it was great. Some people thought it was just creepy. The movie made almost $476 million around the world though, and Depp was nominated for a Golden Globe. Whether you liked it or not, no one forgot his Willy Wonka. In the same year, Depp took on another task. The voice of Victor Van Dort was done by him in Burton's stop-motion cartoon movie Corpse Bride. Depp was making movies during the day for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and singing for Corpse Bride at night. There was a lot of feeling in the part. He had to use Victor's voice to show how scared, kind, and grown he was. Victor went from the land of the living to the land of the dead in the story, which was based on an old folk tale. It was both sad and funny. The animation was also a big step forward. Because it didn't use film, the pictures were clearer, and took less time to make. Corpse Bride was another hit for Depp and Burton, and it was even nominated for an Oscar. It also proved Depp didn't need to be seen to make people feel something. Depp played the Mad Hatter again in Alice in Wonderland in February 2010. He and Burton had worked together so much by that point, that it was easy for them to connect. The Hatter played by Depp was sad, faithful, and a little crazy. Sometimes it's happy, and sometimes it's sad. The movie worked because it felt like a dream thanks to the CGI, outfits, and real people. Over $1 billion was made on the movie, making it Burton's biggest hit. They worked together again in Dark Shadows in February 2012, with Depp playing Barnabas, a vampire who is 200 years old. It was cool, weird, and funny in a weird way. Some critics didn't like it, but it showed how far they had come as artists, going from small strange stories to big crazy shows. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas 1998, on the other hand, was one of Depp's scariest parts ever. Rather than just reading about Hunter S. Thompson to play him, Depp lived with him. When they met in 1994, things were crazy right away. He used a taser in a bar, and then called Depp to his house, where they blew things up and shot guns. After that, Depp lived in Thompson's basement for 4 months. The space was small, spider-filled, and right next to a dynamite keg. Thompson dressed Depp, let him drive his car, and even shaved his head to match his bald spots. He kept track of him, and recorded their talks for hours. It didn't even seem like Depp was acting in the movie when it came out. Smith was his name. Since they were so close, Depp carried out Thompson's last wish by firing his ashes from a 153-foot gun, while Bob Dylan's Mr. Tambourine Man played in the background. It wasn't just a show. They were totally devoted to each other, and loved each other deeply. But Depp wasn't just good at playing weird, broken heroes. In the 1997 movie, Donnie Brasco, he played an FBI agent who works undercover and joins the mob. The story was true. It took Joseph Pistone 6 years to act like he was a gangster. Depp trained with Pistone to learn how dangerous that life was. He or his friends could die if they make one mistake. Depp learned how to move, talk, and think like a gangster. He also had to show how it made people feel. He starts to lose himself, because he has to choose between being loyal to the FBI and his friendship with a mobster played by Al Pacino. The stress, the lies, and the guilt were all clear in Depp's voice. It was quiet, scary, and very human. In Blow 2001, Depp played George Young, a guy who helped bring cocaine to the United States in the 1980s. Young worked for Pablo Escobar, and made a lot of money, but then he lost everything. Depp met Young in jail, and learned a lot about him. He was interested in both how Young lived, and what he thought. He made up some lines to sound more like the real man. It is very sad when Young records a tape for his dad. In one of the movie's scenes, Depp used Young's real words. It was more than just playing. It was an honor. Young's story was crazy, exciting, and sad. When Depp was rich, he showed everything. When he lost his family, he showed the worst. After some time, Depp said that he loved Young from the first time they met. It was already known that Johnny Depp could play weird and unusual roles. But in 2002, he did something that no one thought he would do. He agreed to play the lead role in a Disney spy movie. But he wasn't just a pirate when he came to the screen. It was complete chaos. He stumbled and slurred his words when he got to the first table, and moved like a rock star who hadn't slept in days. Everyone thought he was kidding. The people at Disney were so confused that they asked him if he was drunk. One of them thought he was ruining the whole movie. Depp wasn't kidding though. His whole show was based on Keith Richards, the crazy guitarist for the Rolling Stones. He thought pirates from the 1700s were the biggest stars of their time, and Richards was the perfect modern version. He was rebellious, unexpected, and still went strong. Depp even brought in some of the silly skunk Pepe Le Pew, which gave Jack Sparrow a strange charm and hope. He wouldn't tone it down. Disney could either go with his idea or find someone else to do it. It wasn't done to replace him. Some people didn't just like it, they were shocked. Roger Ebert said that it was unique in every way. One reviewer said it was a great example of how to act funny. This risky move paid off for Depp. He was up for his first Academy Award, a Golden Globe, and even a Screen Actors Guild Award. The weird guy from independent movies became the face of a worldwide sensation all of a sudden. Then February 2006 came. When Dead Man's Chest came out in cinemas, it broke everything in its way. It made $135,600,000 in its first weekend in North America. That had never been done in a movie before. It made more than $100 million in 2 days, $200 million in 8, and $400 million in 45 days. It took in more than $1 billion around the world. No one thought a pirate movie could do this, but Jack Sparrow made people want to see it. After a year, the third movie, At World's End, came out. It did better at the box office than any other movie ever, with over 4,300 screens in North America. That's a lot of TVs. It made almost $139,800,000 in just 4 days. It made $153 million by day 5. Many movies came out at the same time, like Spider-Man 3 and Shrek 3, but Depp's pirate movie was the big winner. It had made $963,400,000 around the world by the time it left cinemas. Up until 2022, it was the best Memorial Day weekend ever. People still came to see Jack, even after the later versions slowed down. When Stranger Tides opened in the US in February 2011 with $90,100,000. It was a huge hit everywhere else. It made $256 million in sales outside of China in just one weekend. At that time, it was the biggest opening in the world. It became the fastest Disney movie ever to make $1 billion around the world. It made $62 million in the United States and $794 million around the world in February 2017. There is still a clear sign, though it is not as big as before. There was more to Jack Sparrow than just the movies. After that, things began to go wrong. By February 2010, the man behind The Pirate started to go in a different direction. Tracy Jacobs, his agent, said it was like seeing two different people. Once upon a time, Depp was known for being very, very late. On set, people would wait for hours. There were times when whole shooting days were wasted. On the set of Dead Men Tell No Tales, an Australian crew member was put outside of Depp's house to see if he was awake. The message got out when he finally woke up. The bird has come down. It wasn't just being lazy, it got worse for him to drink and use drugs. He would be late, lost, or not show up at all. Whole film shoots became tense and hard to plan. Behind the scenes, the producers fought over who should talk to him. Even Disney had to come up with ways to keep things quiet, to handle all the noise. His bad habits at home were making things difficult at work. After that, he fell in love with Amber Heard. In February 2009, they met on a movie set. Johnny Depp was already a famous actor. Amber Heard was young, driven, and making progress. As part of The Rum Diary, Depp played Paul Kemp, and Heard was chosen as Chanel. They hit it off right away. Heard once said that working with Depp was too much for her, but it also made her happy. Both were seeing someone at the time. Heard was seeing Vanessa Paradis, and Depp was seeing Tasha Van Ree. They were no longer together by February 2012, though. Depp and Heard started dating. At first everyone thought they were a beautiful new couple. Things were not at all great though. Despite the news stories and red carpets, soon their love story would turn into one of the ugliest and most publicized in the history of celebrities. On February 3, 2015, they got married. They had a small wedding at their home in Los Angeles, and then a big party on Depp's private island in the Bahamas, but the party didn't last. In May 2016, 15 months after the separation, Heard asked for a divorce and a protection order. She said Depp abused her verbally, physically, and emotionally, over and over again. At least 3 incidents were listed in court papers. In one she said he broke things in their home and hit her. Depp was told to stay away by a judge. Pictures of Heard's face, which was hurt and swollen, were all over the news. Depp refuted all of it. His lawyers said she was lying to get money. It turned into public war, the kind where no one gets away clean. Then there was the opinion piece. Heard wrote something for the Washington Post in December 2018. Even though she didn't say Depp's name, everyone knew who she meant. She said that she had been abused at home. Depp lost his job right away, especially as Captain Jack Sparrow. In March 2019, he sued her for $50 million, saying that what she said was false and hurt his image. Heard answered back. She said she had also lost her job and started getting hate mail. The court case went crazy. It came out in pictures, texts, and through witnesses. On both sides, abuse was blamed on the other. All eyes were on them to see who was telling the truth. A lot of people didn't get it at all. Australia was the site of one of the worst times. The year was March 2015. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales was being filmed at the time. They were in a rented house when they got into a fight. A piece of Depp's finger was cut off. He said that Heard hit him with a booze bottle. He cut his right middle finger on the broken bottle. There was blood everywhere. After some time, the thumb was found on the kitchen floor. Our doctor said Depp had surgery, making things stopped. His team said Depp hurt himself. Picture were there. Terrible, so shocking, that wound became a sign of how bad things were between them. No one could turn their eyes away. In January 2017, they were no longer married. Depp agreed to give Heard $7 million. She said she gave everything to charity. It turned out that she didn't give all of the money, only part of it was paid. Elon Musk was behind some of it. The story didn't stop. Even though they signed a non-disclosure agreement, Depp said she was lying. Heard said she was telling the truth. In a statement together they said that their relationship was crazy and intense, but based on love. It didn't make anyone believe it. It was bad for their names, and the lawsuits kept going on. A new witness then came forward. People who worked at the Eastern Columbia building, where Depp and Heard lived, said Musk came by late at night. A butler said that Heard would often call around 11 p.m. to let Musk in. The next morning he was seen leaving. This happened while she was married to Depp. Surveillance video caught them close together in the elevator. When asked about it, the building staff said that Heard and Musk's relationship did not begin after the split. Being honest about it made it look like betrayal, which helped Depp's case. Texts that only Depp could see were read in court. They showed how angry he was. He called Musk a mollusk and sent his agent mean texts. He wrote that he wanted to cut Musk up and that Heard's bad luck would catch up with her. It was a bad set of words. He said he wasn't proud of them, but they showed a man who was at the edge of his seat and watched his life fall apart in front of everyone. Then Heard's agent told them something else. She texted the agent that she had never loved Musk after she broke up with him in February 2017. She was only there to fill the time. She told him that she needed time to heal deeply and that Musk was getting in the way. These texts broke down the idea that they were really dating. It looked like a comeback, and people began to doubt her goals, choices, and even her honesty. Then the trail of money came. Heard had said she would give all of her divorce money to charity, but records showed that Elon Musk gave the ACLU $500,000 in her name. Depp sent another piece, only $1,300,000 of the $3,500,000 that was promised was ever sent. Musk had even emailed the ACLU to let them know he was going to help her keep her promise. It took place while the court case was going on. At first it looked like she was trying to keep her good name, but the truth slowly broke down that carefully constructed story. In the end, Walter Isaacson's account of Musk published in 2023 showed how bad that relationship really was. Musk said it was the worst relationship he had ever been in. His brother Kimball said Heard was a bad dream. His family didn't like her. Isaacson called it a dark vortex.
Musk said it hurt him emotionally and would never go away, but there were also passionate times. Musk's favorite video game character is Mercy, and Heard once spent 2 months making an outfit for her. It was love gone wrong. Musk later said, "I'm a fool most of the time, but especially when I'm in love." Heard that she loved him still. She also said that Elon loves fire, even though it hurts him sometimes. One of the best paid stars in Hollywood history was Johnny Depp. After Pirates of the Caribbean became a huge hit in 2002, he became famous all over the world. He got $20 million up front for each movie plus bonuses at the end, $40 million for each Pirates movie, and even $55 million from Alice in Wonderland, which made over $1 billion around the world. It looks like he has enough money to live a good life. The world was shocked when he sued in October 2017. He said that for almost 20 years, his business management had gone wrong with $650 million. He went after a business called the Management Group. Depp said they didn't pay his taxes, borrowed money without telling him, and carelessly spent his money on things like security that were too expensive. For 16 years they took $28 million in fees, which is about 5% of his income, without a signed contract. He said that they hid how bad things were, and he was in a lot of debt by the time he found out. It took months for the case to end. The case was finally over in July 2018, just a few weeks before it was set to go to court. There was a hearing that could have made everything public. Things didn't end there though. They sued him in April 2018, after being his security for a long time. Joey Ariola and Miguel Sanchez were their names. They said they weren't paid right after working for him as a private security guard in 2016. They weren't allowed basic things that are required by law like meal breaks, rest periods, or extra hours. It wasn't just about the money though. They talked about a hectic place of work, as if Depp wasn't drunk enough. They said they had to watch over him, keep him away from people, and even drive him around. Being around illegal drugs and cars was one of the dangerous things they had to deal with. They said they were more than just guards. As well as driving, they took care of things and fixed problems. Then there was another big blow. An event manager named Greg "Rocky" Brooks sued in July 2018 for something that happened the year before. The event took place on the set of Depp's movie City of Lies. One night, Depp didn't want to stop working even though it was 10 o'clock. However, Brooks was able to get a short extension. However, by 11 p.m., the cops told them they had to end it. Someone told Brooks to give that message straight to Depp when he sent it on. That's when everything went off. Brooks said Depp smelled like being drunk. He began to yell, "Who the fuck are you? You can't tell me what to do." The claim says Depp then punched him twice in the ribs and yelled, "I'll give you $100,000 right now to punch me in the face." The movie's release was pushed back. The case got a lot of attention. Depp's image was already hurt, and it got worse. Brooks said that Depp's protectors had to physically stop him. Everyone on board saw it. The event made the production look bad, slowed down the movie, and added to Depp's growing list of problems. The court case went on and on. It still wasn't solved by 2022, but Depp had just won a well-known defamation case against his ex-wife Amber Heard, and he didn't want to start a new public case at a time when it could have ruined everything he was trying to build. There was a quiet settlement in the City of Lies case, just days before it was set to go to court. No big fight in public court. Not any new news. Nothing but silence. The deal's specifics were never made public, but Depp wasn't done shocking people. He came back in October 2024, but not in a movie. He came back in the art world. In Manhattan's Chelsea neighborhood, which has one of the best art scenes in the world, he opened a solo show called A Bunch of Stuff. It had more than 70 original songs. Some he had painted many years before. The art was real, personal, and strange. A few showed strong feelings. Some of them looked like bright dreams. But they told a story of a man who had been through a lot and poured it all out on paint. In the first week, more than 10,000 people came. Many people thought that Depp's art was just another hobby for famous people, but reviewers were shocked. They saw real skill. What they saw was pain, depth, and speed. A lot of big names in movies and art came to the opening night. It was clear that Depp wasn't just trying to get back into films. He wasn't just trying to fix his appearance. He was also trying to fix who he was. He felt like an artist who was finally in charge of the story he wanted to tell, not like a dead star.